Have you been asked to simplify a square root such as this one, and you're not quite sure how to do it? Well, you've come to the right place because I'm Professor Capko, and I'm going to show you exactly how to simplify this square root in today's video. But first, I want to say I believe something wonderful is about to happen for you. So be on the lookout for it. And now, back to the video. In this problem, we are given a square root and we are asked to simplify it. So we have to figure out what can we pull out of this square root. And I'm going to show you one method for doing this. This is a foolproof method. It's a little messy, but it'll work every time. And in a later video, I can show you an easier way to do it. But let's look at this foolproof method first. Since this is a square root, and we know it's a square root because we have this symbol that looks like this. This is not a division symbol. This is a square root sign. And there's no small number here. If there was a 3, for example, that would be a cube root. A 4 would be a fourth root, what have you. There's no number listed here, so by default, this is a square root. In other words, what is it that is, if we took the square root of these numbers, what do we wind up with? So let's take a look at the best way to do this. If we spread everything out into its individual pieces, it's going to be easier to do this. So I'm going to rewrite this square root in the following fashion. So I put the square root sign, and I'm going to write the 2. And we've got x to the 5th power. That's like saying x times x times x 5 times. So I'm going to just literally write that out. X times x times x times x times x. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's multiplied by each other. That's literally what x to the 5th power is. We're going to multiply that by y to the 7th. And as you can guess, that's the same thing as going y 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 y's multiplied together. I'll put the dot in between, so we're multiplying. And there's no pluses or minuses here, and they're right next to each other, so you know everything in here is multiplied. If there is an addition or subtraction, you can't do it this way. So in this case, everything is multiplied, so we can do it just like that. So let's take care of the y to the 7th power. Same thing for the z to the 3rd power, or z cubed otherwise. We can write this as z times z times z. I have now taken everything in here and I spread it out like peanut butter. Now we're going to see what can we pull out from under this is called a radical. We're going to pull it out from the radical. And the only things we're going to pull out are things that are in pairs. And the reason it's in pairs that I'm pulling out is because it's a square root. If it's a cube root, I'm going to pull out 3 of a kind. But we're pulling out pairs. So we're going to start with a 2. There's no pair to that 2, so I'm going to leave it. It stays. The next thing is the x's. So here's 2 x's. A pair of x's, I'm going to circle it. I'm going to write that on the outside here, x. Don't forget to write it here with a multiplication because whatever else is next to it, we're going to multiply. I've got 2 more x's here. A pair of x's I'm going to circle. 2 x's becomes 1 when it comes out from the radical. There's a single x here. It does not have a pair, so I don't touch it. I don't circle it. Move on to the y's. I've got a pair of y's here, so I circle it. That becomes 1 y on the outside. The next, I've got 2 y's. Circle them. That becomes 1 y on the outside. 2 more y's. I circle those, and that's a y on the outside here. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up. That really helps the channel. I've got a single y here. It does not have a mate, so it does not come out. The next thing, I move on to the z's. I've got a pair of z's here. I circle them, I multiply it, and that is a z. There's a single z here, so that does not come out. So I've circled all the pairs, so I can now put the radical back in, and write under the radical everything that remains. So I have a 2, so that stays under the radical. I have a single x here, so I'm going to write the x. I have a single y, so I write the y there. And I have a single z. So I've got 2xyz. I'm not completely done yet. One more step. I need to now recombine these here on the outside. Since I've got x times x, that's the same thing as saying x squared, right? X times x is x squared. The power tells you how many times you multiply the sides times each other. Next, I've got y, and it's 1, 2, 3. I'm multiplying it by itself 3 times, so my power is 3. And for z, the last thing, there's only a single z there, so I put the z. There's an imaginary 1 there, but we don't write it. X, Y, Z, and I'm going to just copy down what's under the radical here. 2x, y, z. And that has simplified this square root. That is how you do it. It's a very foolproof way. It'll work for you every time it's tried. So don't forget to do that. Don't forget also to subscribe to my channel. I've also got a membership program. If you become a member of the channel, you get early access to videos, and I also give priority answering questions of members. So consider doing that. There's special members only videos. There's a lot of benefits to it. So consider joining my channel. Also, you may not even realize all the benefits that will occur when you hit the subscribe button and click on that notification bell so you never miss a video. Thank you and make it an awesome day.